Welcome once again to Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger, the podcast where we watch an episode of the televisual series Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and subsequently we discuss it. Once again, we are joined by, my co-host Michael, first of all.
Howdy.
He's back, as he ever is, and Dane and Rhea are back with us as well.
Hello.
Hey.
How you guys doing?
Good. Yeah, good.
Very
I'm
excited
to see part 2.
I'm excited that you're excited.
Left on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, absolutely. we need some resolution, otherwise we will be very upset.
Are the Power Rangers going to punch Satan in the face?
God, I hope so.
Who knows?
So you can find our website at www.rangerdangerpodcast.com.
Yep.
You can send us an email at rangerdangerpodcast@gmail.com.
That's the one.
We're at RangerDcast on Twitter.
Yep.
We're also on Facebook and iTunes and YouTube and Stitcher.
I think that's
nailed
everywhere.
it. Nailed it. All right. So before we start this week...
which is episode 40?
Yes, entitled Doomsday Part 2.
Yeah, the original season finale. Kind of.
And it's got a pretty season finale feel, so I think we can treat it as such.
Yeah.
But before we do that, we got an interweb mail, which is always very exciting, from Kelsey. So
Hi, Kelsey.
Hi, Kelsey. Thank you so much for sending us an interweb mail. We're going to go through it because it is a great email with many interesting things in it.
Okay.
So we can discuss those things that she has talked about.
I like discussing interesting things.
Yeah. So Kelsey says that she's just begun listening to the podcast about 2 weeks ago. She found us through the iTunes store.
Okay.
Since then, has listened to all the episodes released.
That's pretty hardcore.
That's 36 episodes in 2 weeks.
That's 2 a day. A bit.
Power Ranger high five to Kelsey.
Yeah.
You have our approval and our gratitude and our bewilderment.
I don't think you should be telling people that you're confused as to why you're listening to our show. I don't think that's a good way to endear them to us.
I'm all about honesty. So Kelsey has a few things she'd like to mention.
Sure.
Because she's listened to 36 episodes. And
yeah.
So, first of all, she's talking about food fights, because there was that great...
food fight.
In quotes, episodes about food fight.
I want to say that was like episode 6.
It's pretty early.
Was that with Pudgy Pig?
Yes,
the pig who was going to eat all of the Earth's food supply?
Yes, it was. He also wore a Centurion helmet.
Of course he did.
So, in regards to food fights, because we were asking if food fights are actually a thing in America.
Yep.
Because we were confused about why food fights just broke out. And Kelsey's saying that she's only aware of one food fight, but... You know, it is a thing that actually happened in her middle school lunch period. Being a very wise person, she didn't get involved herself.
Good call.
Yep. And it didn't get very far before the lunch monitors broke it up. I think lunch monitors is an amazing term.
I'm imagining like a giant robotic figure with like a camera for a head that just watches over lunch.
And like police sirens on its head. Yeah.
I am a lunch monitor. That would be great.
That would be great.
I bet they're just people.
Yes, probably. So apparently a handful of kids threw mashed potatoes, peas, and chocolate milk at each other. That sounds good.
See, that's the thing we hadn't considered, is that a lot of American schools have school lunches.
Yeah.
Whereas that's not really a thing in Australia.
No. We have to bring our own lunches like chumps.
Yeah. So I guess... that food might be worth less to some of those kids.
Yeah.
So they might be more willing to throw it at other kids.
That makes sense. Whereas we have to cherish the little food that we are allowed to have.
You know, your mum made you a sandwich. You're not going to throw that at a dude.
No. So, outside of that experience, Kelsey isn't aware of any other food fights that have occurred, and like her friends that went to other schools don't know any of either. So it's not a super common thing.
But maybe it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, maybe.
And they cracked down.
So we've talked about before how on the show, Rita appears on a flying penny farthing bicycle.
Yep.
A few times.
So what?
Yeah. And every time we have that reaction because it's bizarre. But Kelsey has a very interesting theory about that.
Okay.
And is saying that, like, her personal theory is that it's a Wizard of Oz motif all through that season.
You know what? Right. I wrote that down in my notes.
Oh, really?
It's very Wizard of Oz and very HR Puff and stuff.
Oh. So, yeah, apparently we've totally missed this.
Yeah.
So Rita Repulsa is an evil witch whose greatest enemy is a giant floating head.
No.
Like
Yeah,
That's a
and
pretty-
she
that's-
has
yeah,
monkey-looking minions.
Yeah.
Just like the Wizard Witch does.
the 5 teenagers with attitudes sort of fit the group of travelers from the merry old land of Oz.
Which one of them is Toto?
Zach.
Is that because he's from Africa? Is that...
No, because he's the
That's a multi-level kind of joke that I've got going on there.
No, so
I'm very proud of that, I'd like to say.
Yeah, I saw he did that. So the characters in Oz are sort of archetypal.
Right.
You've got the brain
Yep.
of the group. And
Billy.
That'd be Billy. Yep. The heart of the group. Trini.
Yep.
The courage. Jason.
Jason.
Beauty, who's Dorothy, is Kimberly.
Kimberly.
And the spirit of adventure, Toto, is Zach, which is probably the loosest fitting one. But
Yep.
what's he got 4 out of 5?
That's fine, yep.
And to top it all off, Barbara Goodson, who does the voice of Rita, was given the direction to sound more like the Wicked Witch of the West.
There you go.
Yeah. So, yeah.
We've done 40 episodes and never once...
Never picked it up. And, yeah, that's a very comprehensive theory that I think fits really well. So, yeah. Another high five. Woo! So we are also talking about how we'd love to see the Sentai series. Is it Resha Sentai? The train one, basically.
Yeah, the train one, yep. Is that Tokyuga?
Yes.
Yes.
That's it.
I'm a nerd.
Yeah. So it's Kelsey, because she's got it in here, so yeah, good job. We are in full support of Nerds and Geeks. And yeah, so we're talking about how we wanted to see that adapted, and she's been watching the Sentai series.
Okay.
And saying that it's pretty unlikely, because one of the main villains is live action, like Rita Repulsa is, but obviously it worked a bit easier in standard definition to dub someone,
Yep.
because the TVs look crappy, couldn't
And
make
it doesn't
out.
even really work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
But in HD, obviously, the dubbing is just going to be...
That's going to be interesting.
Well, yeah, I don't think... They're probably not going to do it, because they're skipping straight to the Dino one.
No, the Dino one is before.
Oh,
this
is it?
one, isn't it?
Okay. Well, yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're only skipping Go Busters.
Yeah.
But they may skip it afterwards.
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
So, yeah, there'd be that dubbing problem. And as Kelsey rightly points out, 7 is way too cheap to shoot their own villain footage. So
Yeah.
that's not going to happen.
There's also some weird... There's like... Sometimes they form a train.
Yeah.
And it looks great.
Yeah.
But, man, I don't know how it'll play to 6-year-old American kids.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome, but, and she also mentioned there might be weird going from trains to whatever follows in the next season.
So who knows how that'll happen.
Yeah.
I guess we'll know in a year or so.
Yeah, so she also mentioned that we were talking about wanting to watch some Sentai episodes ourselves, and very kindly sent us a link to some fan subtitled episodes.
Okay.
But this would be before
we
did our last episode where we actually watched an episode of Sentai, our special episode. So
it was pretty great.
It was pretty great. So you can go back and listen to that episode if you'd like, Kelsey. Presumably you already have, because you're a pretty hardcore Ranger Danger fan, which we really appreciate. Just to wrap it up, Kelsey says that she's a 16-year-old high school student, and I would like to say she's incredibly intelligent. And this is a really great email for someone who's 16. Mine would be much less sort of formal and well put together at this age. And she's talking about her first experience with Power Rangers was roughly around Dino Thunder.
Right. Oh, God, we're so old.
We are so old.
Jesus. We'd already stopped watching by the time Dino Thunder was on air.
Yeah.
We are so old.
And she'd watched bits of Dino Thunder, SPD, and Mystic Force.
Right.
I
know nothing about Mystic Force.
I know that their headquarters is in a tree. I think...
a large tree, or are they just really squashed?
It's a pretty large tree.
Okay.
And you know my girlfriend Sarah, who's been on the show.
Yes.
I think that's going to be the season of Power Rangers that really appeals to her, because that's very sort of hippie Wiccan magic.
Okay, well, 15 years from now when we get to it, we'll look forward to having her on the show.
Absolutely. So then, in early 2013, she had a really bad bout of insomnia, during which she went back and watched all 3 seasons of Mighty Morphin and also Zero.
As someone who is a third of the way through that, or a quarter of the way through that, I'm very impressed.
Yeah, that's hardcore effort. She's not been watching Power Rangers episodes with each podcast episode, presumably because she's seen them all before. As she finds it fun to sit back and remember, oh yeah, that did happen. Bulk did get squirted with goo for the 20 millionth time. Yeah. When she's not watching Power Rangers or Super Sentai, she's a high school student who's a member of the drama club, Model UN, and every band ensemble, plays trombone and flute.
Does she have a flute sword?
I don't think so.
That would be the question.
So she actually says, when I play my flute, a Godzilla-esque monster does not appear out of the ocean, which is a shame.
That's incredibly disappointing.
That is a shame.
I just assumed that was a power of all flutes.
In her spare time, she also hopes to open a gym and juice bar so that my entire life can take place in one multi-purpose building, not to mention it would be awesome.
Wait, so did you say 16?
Yeah.
There's some good jokes in that for 16.
Yeah, and, like, very comprehensive life experience. That model you renting is going to look good on your resume.
That's the sort of thing that a Power Ranger would do.
You're a very impressive human being, Kelsey.
Thank you very much for writing in.
Yep, and there's a PS. As a flute player, she's very disappointed that the dragon flute sounds like a trumpet.
Oh, that's what I said!
Yes! That's what we said!
Dane did say that last week.
That's weird. Thank you very much, Kelsey, for writing in.
That was an amazing email.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time. And
Yeah.
we're glad you enjoyed the show, and
If you
we'll
have
try and keep it up.
If you have any other thoughts, or if anyone else is listening and would like us to read an email on air, just shoot us an email.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that Kelsey found us on iTunes just shows how important it is that you go onto iTunes and rate us if you're listening to the show.
Yeah, look, I try not to talk about it every week.
Yeah.
But if you rate the show on iTunes, if you like us on Facebook, like our videos or comment on our videos on YouTube,
Subscribe on YouTube.
anything that you can do, it basically just makes it more likely for other people to find us.
Yeah.
And the more people are listening, the more cool stuff we can do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'd very much appreciate that if you could take some time.
Yep.
Maybe just right now. Just,
Pause the podcast. We'll be here when you come back because we are recorded into the internet for all time.
I think they understand how it works.
Look, we can't assume anything, Michael.
Okay, that's fine. I won't assume anything. We're going to go watch episode 40, Doomsday Part 2.
Dramatic conclusion!
We're very excited. We're hoping that there's going to be some punching the devil in the face.
Yep.
But to be honest, I'm hoping that most days.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
And we'll be right back.
See you soon, guys. Welcome back. We just watched episode number 40 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers entitled Doomsday Part 2.
We sure did.
It was a big poop.
Really?
I thought it was a big poop.
A big poop.
A big smelly poop.
I liked it.
That's the most, dismissive of an episode I've seen you ever.
I think because there's so much writing on it, and there's so much they could have done that they didn't. Anyway.
And you think it was a big poop?
I think it was a big poop.
Okay. Shall we go into why it was a big poop?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright.
But before we do that, Dane, you're saying that you enjoyed it?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, okay.
I think I enjoyed it too. I felt like it was kind of straightforward. It was kind of the expected thing that would happen, but made it easy for me to follow because I had no idea last episode.
Well,
so.
that's good. It's good that it was more comprehensible.
Yeah. So that was a plus in my books.
You didn't think it was a big poop, Michael?
I didn't love it.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was a big poop.
Okay. Well, as we go through the episode, we can debate whether or not it is a poop.
Okay, so we open the episode, Zordon fills the Power Rangers in.
Yes.
Which is nice of him.
And even though they were there.
Even though they were there for literally all of it.
Yeah.
No, look, it's a relatively straightforward way to fill in the kids who
missed
yesterday's
that's fine.
episode.
I don't mind. Yeah.
That's fine.
I've got a question. We were talking about how there was 52 episodes of Super Sentai.
I think so, yeah.
Zai Ranger. Does that mean that and they do Sentai every year?
Yep.
So there's Sentai literally every week of the year in Japan?
That's my understanding.
Jesus Christ.
Or it is multiple times a week.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Because there was a long period where Power Rangers aired 5 days a week or 4 days a week.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Sentai shows have a more frequent airing schedule.
Yep.
Or if there's a new episode every week.
Okay. Because that would be insane if, for every week for, 25 years there's been a Sentai episode on the air. Okay.
That would be pretty great, too.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, that was...
So, the Zords are at half power.
Yes.
And they're going to take 12 hours to charge to full power.
Yeah.
They can take them at half power.
Yeah.
But they're just very weak.
Yeah.
And there's a risk.
Yeah.
So Jason
I think risk is probably overstating considering they're at full power last time and got their asses handed to them.
Yeah, well, Jason basically says we have to take the Zords because if we don't take the Zords, then Cyclops is going to just destroy everything.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that last time they were at full power and only barely won.
Yeah.
So being at half power is not a particularly great strategy.
Not ideal.
And so Zordon says something, and what he says is, if the Zord's backups fail, you and everything in the morphing grid could disappear forever. That's not something we've ever heard.
No.
There's never been any suggestion at all that... I don't know. I got nothing.
Yeah, I think they keep throwing these random concepts in without any sort of backup, prior sort of mentioning it or any sort of thought.
I mean, it's to up the stakes of the fight, right? If you lose, it won't just destroy the town. You will disappear forever.
Yeah.
Which I assume is like dying, but you're allowed to say it in a kid's show.
But can't they say, like, you'll be destroyed? Isn't that something that...
They haven't said that. They've said you'll meet your doom and stuff. They don't ever...
You'll go to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
You'll
meet the Great Satan.
No, that's not a euphemism. That actually happens.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, the threat of the town being completely destroyed should be enough, surely.
I think the problem is that they keep introducing stakes but undercutting them when they have really cheap ways out, which we'll get to more in this episode, but it's happened before.
Yeah.
Where, like, the Zords get destroyed, except we know now that when the Zords get destroyed, they're actually fine.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why they're fine, just that they have to be fine. And we learned very on in this sort of exposition bit that although we thought that Titanus was destroyed last week, he's totally cool.
Yeah, there's basically some footage of him, like, falling into the ground, played in reverse.
Yeah.
With some blue crackly lightning over the top.
Yeah. And that's like, look, guys, he got better.
Yeah. I mean, why even bother destroying it?
Yeah.
Really, is the question.
And I think that's why it always fails with dramatic weight, because they keep undercutting.
They do major things in the last 3 minutes so that you go, oh God, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
And then in the first 3 minutes of the next episode, they go, oh yeah, and it's all better.
Yeah.
Which is not great.
Would you say it's poop-like, Mike?
I wouldn't say it's poop-like.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever said poop-like before. So Jason, look, they morph.
Yeah.
And there was one great thing, I don't know if you noticed. They're not standing in the correct order when Jason says it's morphing time. So he and Kimberly have to, like, step around each other.
Oh, really?
Because apparently he has to be in the middle when they yell it's morphin time.
That's hilarious.
I don't quite know why that is, but anyway. So, they basically get straight into the Megazord.
Yeah.
Cyclopsis has got all of a sudden these, like, arm swords.
Yeah.
Like, kind of like Wolverine claws, but just one on each arm.
Yeah.
That shoot out of, like, above his wrist.
I've definitely seen something like that before, but I can't quite put my
Are
finger
you
on what it
thinking of
is.
movie Deadpool?
Yeah, maybe. That's probably what it is.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Movie Deadpools are longer than his forearms.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Everything about the movie is stupid.
And so, you know, arm swords that cut off the Megazord's arm.
That does happen.
Yeah.
Holy shit. And that was, look, at that point I was thinking, I have no idea what is going to happen this episode. Because it just, like, there's sparks coming out, the arm falls to the ground.
Yeah.
I found that super exciting.
Yeah.
It's the closest we've ever seen to, like, actual damage to the Megazord.
Yeah, and it looks pretty final. Like,
Yeah.
You see the wires and stuff coming out of its arms. Like, oh, the Megazord's fucked now. It is broken, and it won't get better.
So, they fight Cyclopsis for a bit, but there's not a lot they can do.
No, Cyclops is just beating them down pretty hard. Then they call
The Dragon's
Zord out. And pretty much the same thing happens
And
there.
Cyclopsis cuts off its tail! None of you guys are excited as I am.
Well, because we know what happens afterwards, that it completely takes away the weight of it. You know?
I mean, but it cut off it was so cool. You can't tell me that when it happened, you didn't go, shit, what's going to happen?
Yeah, and if we had stopped the episode there, I probably would have been very satisfied, but we didn't.
And then, look, Lokar...
How did he cut it off? Because he had his grappling hook arm shooting out there at the same time, and then his tail just sort of fell off. It was...
He has two swords. He used the other sword.
but he was like, shoo, and then he did the whole rope thing, and then it just sort of fell off.
Magic?
A wizard did it.
No, a witch. A moon witch. Who's briefly an earth witch.
Yeah.
Lokar electrocutes them with his electric hair. what's the deal with Lokar?
I don't know.
The show never kind of pictures him as having a distinct set of abilities.
He clearly has some big importance in the Sentai footage.
Yep.
And so they have him around and they have him in the footage, but they never explain what his deal is in the Power Rangers universe, you know?
And especially, like, in this fight, Cyclopsis fights the Megazord and the Dragonzord.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden Lokar appears.
Yeah.
It just... Yeah, I don't know.
There's, some problems with the footage there, I think. And I think, too, because in the last episode they specifically said that they'll have to defeat Lokar
Yeah.
to succeed. And the fact that they never actually fight Lokar at all,
Nope.
that just sort of drops away. Like, why would you set that up in the previous episode in the dialogue?
It's not like they took a week in between writing the
That's right.
episodes and went, yeah, we don't have the footage for this. He's not going to be able to punch Satan in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, and then Rita electrocutes them. This show likes electric attacks.
Yeah.
I guess because you just have to, like,
Draw on
Draw
the
them.
script.
they must be pretty cheap to do.
Yeah.
It
It feels pretty intense when everyone just piles on
Yeah.
and the Megazord is falling apart and...
And then parts of the Megazord and the Dragonzord start to fade away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like
Yeah.
what is happening to?
And it's like, it's not like from the feet all at once.
It's random bits.
Part of the torso and a leg, and then...
They start just disappearing out of existence. And that looks pretty like the Megazord is just like crumbling to bits,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, the show is unclear as to what is going on.
Yeah.
But the Power Rangers eject.
Yep.
They end up back in the park.
Yep.
Unmorphed.
Yep.
And where Billy explains that the disintegrating is part of the new security system that Zordon designed. And basically they just go back to wherever it is they were hiding before they got summoned to recharge.
So basically, it may have looked like bad things were happening. And
No, it's actually a good thing.
Yeah, it's actually a good thing that's happening. Everything is fine. Don't worry about it. We'll just explain it away.
Billy didn't seem to know what was going on while it was happening,
No.
but I'm glad he knew at the end.
Yeah.
So Rita is jamming their communication frequency.
Yeah.
So they can't communicate with Zordon at all. I don't entirely know why they need to communicate with Zordon.
Because they need to communicate with the command center to get access to the Zords, I think is the point.
Okay, right. That's
they
fine.
They can't access the Zords.
Without going through Zordon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's why Zord is in his name.
Yes.
Um,
Zordon, Zordon.
It's disappointing that, I know this for a fact, that this show never did MegaZordOn,
Yeah.
where he was his own giant robot.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the thing?
No, it's not. That's what I'm
Ah.
saying. It should have been a thing.
Right, yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, no.
We can't have nice things.
So they go to Billy's garage in the hopes of getting some tools to change the frequency somehow.
Yep.
Goldar teleports straight to the garage.
Yep.
With some putties.
Yep.
So you guys can...
Yeah, we
convince
saw them.
We
They're
saw
not
what
real-
putties are.
You didn't get to hear them
They
go...
heard the noise. Yeah.
But you did get to see them, so I didn't make them up.
I was really confused at this point because the show presents it as like a huge deal and they're about to get murdered.
Yes.
But
He
I
just
don't-
looks at them and laughs for a bit.
Yeah, and I don't understand why they couldn't morph. Like, I understand that they can't get access to their Zords, but why can't they just... It's morphin' time.
Maybe they don't have access to the morphing grid without
Okay.
access to Zordon. The show never says that.
Yeah.
But I'd be willing to hand wave that
Okay.
comfortably.
Yeah.
So yeah, Goldar is like at the entrance to the garage. He's got his sword. He knocks some stuff off a bench.
Very menacingly.
Billy's going.
Nothing glass, so that would be dangerous. It's all plastics.
Billy's going. I've only got I need a couple of minutes to fix the frequency so we can teleport out of here.
Yeah.
Like, do something. What basically happens is we cut to Zordon and Alpha 5. And then when we teleport back, everything's fixed. This is an incredibly disappointing sequence.
Yeah.
My thought was they should hit Zordon with the rad bug. Travelling like 3,000... They have a Volkswagen Beetle that can fly and travel at the speed of sound. It's called the rad bug.
Is that made up? Is that
No, that's a real thing.
What?
I mean,
Why do they-
it's made up for the show. It's not real in the real world.
They've got all these cool Zoids and stuff, but they decided to...
Zords.
Zords.
Zords. Zoids were a different set of giant robots.
Ah. Okay.
Were they? What was
Yeah,
Zoids?
Zoids was like an
Still a
anime.
Was it?
Yeah, do you not remember Zoids?
I don't know.
Maybe Zoids was pretty late in the period of time when I was watching anime.
Okay, could we put a link to that in the show
I'm
notes?
already writing it down.
Awesome.
Grant Morrison wrote some Zoids comics.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Anyway, so where were we? Yeah, we cut back to the command center where
Yes.
Zordon and Alpha 5 are going, Rita's blocking the frequency. Alpha's got a piece of paper. What's on that piece of paper is a piece of information.
Because
Rita's palace is on the Earth, somehow they can access
using their Wi-Fi.
They can access her data banks.
Yeah. The idea that Rita Repulsa, ancient moon witch, has data banks.
Everything's stored on a server farm in the basement.
Like she was trapped on the moon for 10,000 years, got out for a few months, and now she has apparently
she's digitized everything.
This is
She
early
does have a
90s as
giant
well.
skyscraper though.
Yeah,
it's just like office blocks full of office blocks.
It's the early 90s. It's probably all on like reel-to-reel tape.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look.
She's got some very important secrets on VHS.
The worst part about this is that it is utterly meaningless.
Mm.
The show does not use it for anything.
Except that to find out the weakness
of
Cyclopses.
Yeah, but
surely there's some more interesting things.
They could have just said, we've analysed Cyclopses. There.
What I was really hoping for that they're going to do with this, and especially with Tommy appearing towards the end.
Dude, spoilers.
Sorry. Is that they go, we figured out how Rita took away Tommy's powers, we can reverse the process and bring him back.
Right.
Because we know that in the future,
Tommy will return.
He'll return as the Rain Ranger.
Yeah.
Now, especially given like the epic finale of the episode, this would be the perfect moment to do it.
Unfortunately, the Japanese Green Ranger is dead at this point. So,
well, but from here on out, they're using original footage, right? So they...
Yeah, more or less.
From next episode, they could have just like, hey, he's back now.
That's fair.
So there's no reason they couldn't have done it.
Yeah, and there is a fight with him in the Dragon Zord, so they could have just said he was in the Dragon Zord. That's fair.
Yep.
The show doesn't do that. That's not what happens.
No.
Yeah, so they've got access to all her spells and secrets.
On
apparently.
file.
Yeah, on file, yeah. Don't you have all of your secrets stored in secrets.doc on your desktop?
And spells.docs.
Yeah. She's got like a wiki that she and Goldar can access.
Yeah.
And
Intra-company wiki.
Yeah. Alright, so look, basically we cut back and the Rangers just teleport away from Goldar. What should have happened is the 4 other Power Rangers who aren't Billy have to unmorphed fight Goldar and the Putties to hold him off for 3 minutes while Billy
Does some tech stuff.
does some computer stuff and fixes it.
Yeah.
And then just when it looks like they're all about to die, because he's going to run them through with a sword,
Yeah.
they teleport away.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened.
Yeah.
What they do is
That what would happen if writers wrote this thing.
what happens is they teleport away.
Yeah.
It's not like this show is afraid to shoot sequences with Goldar fighting the other Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Because we've seen those.
Yeah.
It's just... I'm with you, that was poop.
That was poop.
That was poop. So anyway, they get back to the command center. The Zords have powered up. Somehow. It was going to be 12 hours this morning when they were at 50%.
But now that it has its arm chopped off...
Now that they're back at 0%, they've gone to 100% in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Really poopy.
Yeah, look, that...
Magic.
I mean, clearly magic, but... Yeah, man. I got nothing.
Yeah.
And Titanus is alright.
Yeah, he's fixed now.
He's
Surprise.
fixed. He rose out of the ground.
Fucking sure, man.
Yeah, but they said something about that. I just missed it.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, this is a good reason for what's going on. It was like, Titanus is back, guys. And so, somehow with access to Rita's spells and secrets, they've determined Cyclopsis' weakness, which is that it adjusts to what it's fighting. So, if they just keep changing modes, it won't be able to adjust quickly enough, and they can destroy it.
Yeah.
Would have been nice if we'd seen it doing some adjusting to different modes last
Previously,
week.
yeah.
But
set it up in any way, shape, or form.
we'll take what we can get. They fight Cyclopsis. They change modes a fair bit. It's not a very exciting fight, really.
You know.
There's a bit where Cyclopsis does a groin attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kicks the Megazord straight in the balls.
That's
Yep.
really funny.
Which doesn't make any sense for a giant robot
But
fight.
doesn't have testicles.
Yeah. It's not even like a particularly weak spot to attack anyway.
It looks like the Megazord goes flying a bit. Like, it looks like it's in
sure,
pain.
but that's because it's a strong kick being brought up from under it. Look, long story short, they summon the Ultrazord and they just blow the shit out of Cyclopsis.
Yeah. And we see what I'm pretty sure is the exact same footage of Gola teleporting away and it blowing up, as we saw last week. So clearly, this wasn't how it played out in Sentai.
I can't imagine, but who knows?
Yeah.
The episode treats that as game over, problem solved.
Yeah. Without any mention of
Without
Lokar.
any mention of Lokar at all.
Yeah.
The presence of Lokar is inexplicable. I feel like they could have cut around Lokar fairly easily.
We just talked about it a little bit. Like, Lokar's run away because he was scared of the Ultrazord or something. He might be back.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's not back.
Yeah.
Why not just say he was destroyed by the Ultrazord?
Yeah.
Do anything to suggest that something happened to Lokar.
Yeah. Any sort of conclusion would have been nice.
Yep.
Instead, we got poop.
We did get poop. I'm turning more and more to Matt's side. Okay, so they go back to all of Angel somehow. Well, no, Rita takes her palace back to the moon.
Yeah.
Somehow that brings all the citizens of Angel Grove back.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
And the Power Rangers are there, so the mayor is like, "Hey guys, it's the Power Rangers." Everyone's like, "Yeah."
We see the principal of the school and one of their
Kaplan
teachers.
and Miss Appleby.
Hey, yeah, you're good for names.
Yep.
And they were like, "Oh, our heroes are back! Hooray!"
Ernie's there.
And
It's nice to see him out and about.
Yeah.
And so then there's some kids talking about which Power Ranger is the best, and they're like, Red Ranger's the strongest. No, the Blue Ranger. No, the Black Ranger. And then Tommy shows up, which actually surprised me.
Yeah.
I figured with 2 minutes left in the episode,
Nothing.
the odds of us ever seeing him again were pretty slim.
Yeah.
But no, he's back. And he says, actually, kids, they're all the strongest. What I was hoping for was him to say, but the Green Ranger's the coolest. But no, he doesn't say that.
Yeah.
All the Power Rangers walk past him. He gets a hug from all of them. Gets an especially long hug with Zach for some
And a
reason.
long lingering look as well. Yeah. It's nice.
It's a little sweet.
And this was the point where I was thinking, oh, maybe they'll do something cool and interesting at the end of the episode regarding the fate of Tommy. But no, he's just there.
He came to Power Rangers Day.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is, it's nice.
Yeah.
But
It was nice to see him again after 5 episodes without him.
Yep.
But, I mean, that means nothing to you, right?
No,
Was Tommy there
I
since
was
the
like, Tommy
start?
was out.
Or was he...
No, Tommy came in around episode 17 as an evil Green Ranger.
Ooh.
By episode 22, he was a good Green Ranger.
when he was evil, he'd been brainwashed. So.
Yeah. Then, about 5 episodes ago, there was a magic candle that took away his powers, and we haven't seen him since then. So he was there for about half the season, all up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then, look, the Power Rangers do, they all put their hands together and go team, and jump in the air, and it freeze frames.
I thought that's where the episode was going to end.
Yep. But no, we get a post-credits scene, essentially, except it's before the credits.
Yeah.
Where
And this is the point where I was like, oh, maybe they'll make an announcement about Tommy's power coming back. But no.
you just really want Tommy's power to come back.
I just wanted something to happen,
Look, man,
basically.
there's an episode somewhere within the next 10 to 15 episodes called Return of an Old Friend.
Yeah.
So I'd wager
That's what's
I'd
gonna happen.
wager that given that they don't have any other old friends, I'd be pretty willing to say that that's the old friend who's going to come back.
I just wanted something of significance to happen in this season finale. And it was just not to be, I
Not
guess.
really. So Zordon gives the Power Rangers the option to give up their Power Ranger hood, and he'll go find someone new.
Presumably, he doesn't say that.
Yeah, but, Rita is still on the moon.
Yeah. Although the way he talks about it, he makes it sound like Rita's dealt with, but other things are out there.
Yeah, even though,
We know Rita's coming back.
yeah.
Yeah.
For a long time,
Yeah.
they basically say, fuck you, there's no way we're giving up being Power Rangers.
Nothing about this isn't awesome for
Yeah.
us. They just had a giant party for us. We're all good. You know, this isn't like a dramatic decision. Like, this has been really hard on us.
There's
but we'll
no great
persevere.
power, great responsibility. No.
It's just everything is awesome. Let's keep punching monsters.
To which Zordon says, I am very pleased to hear you say those things. Which, man, that's not a great line. Alpha has caught... Because, God forbid, we end this episode without a dumb thing to finish it off. Alpha has caught a computer virus.
Tish, so he's sneezing.
So he's sneezing, and he has a tissue, which makes no sense because his head is like an M&M. It just...
yeah, it's a thing. So Alpha has a computer virus because he's upset. And then they put their hands together like they did at the end of the first episode. So it's a callback, and they freeze frame.
Or also like they did 30 seconds ago.
Yeah. Then
they jump into the air.
Freeze frame.
Freeze frame.
End of episode. So yeah, that all happened to us.
Yeah. I've seen some terrible season finales in my time.
Yeah.
This one is worse than probably most of them.
Yeah.
It was just, I mean, I haven't seen the Dexter finale. I've heard bad things. Okay. Would you describe this as more or less satisfying? I mean, at least none of
more satisfying. I
the,
feel like it wasn't. It was bad, but it wasn't like that bad with Power Rangers.
At least none of the Power Rangers
pretty
became
bad.
lumberjacks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of expect it from Power Rangers.
Yeah. And I think because there's no ongoing story in Power Rangers, you can't be really unsatisfied that nothing wrapped up or wrapped up poorly.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't think it couldn't have been that bad, but...
And I guess the problem, is a couple of things. One is that I've seen good Power Rangers finales.
Yeah.
And I've seen several of them.
Yeah.
That are all narratively pleasing and a wrap-up and also able to be continued.
Yeah.
And this was just not
But
that.
this is the first season.
Yeah, that doesn't...
It doesn't matter.
This amount of terrible
This is the finale to get you hooked. And
I don't know. I think if it's the first season, they're sort of trying to pave their way. And if you're renewing for another season, they're going to pitch it and they're going to get new staff or new writers and it'll get increasingly better. So I think you guys are in for a treat.
That doesn't seem likely.
Man, I wish that were true, Dan.
It does get better. I just
Yeah.
not in that sort of time frame. It's going to take us a few years. before we get
Okay, right.
You know, and I mean, I don't know when they were filming this, if they knew they got another 20 episodes.
I think that's why Rita isn't defeated
Yes.
and all that sort of stuff, when clearly they had the footage to suggest that.
But at the same time, why not defeat Rita and have another villain for those 20 episodes?
Yeah, well, I think it's because they do that in 20 episodes' time, basically.
Kind of, yeah. And they do keep Rita around for very long.
Well, but for the first... I mean, we might as well talk about it explicitly now. What with Lord Zed, when he turns up...
Which I'm pretty sure is episode 61, is the first episode of season 2.
Yeah. Rita's out of the picture for quite a long time.
Yes.
She's just not even in the show, and then she comes back to, partner with Lord Zed later. But
I'm pretty sure the reason for that is they had to find an actress who looked like Rita Repulsa.
Yeah.
Because they started shooting their own footage.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really looking forward to, I think. In not that long, there'll be a lot of American footage and it might get...
a bit more sensical.
more cohesive.
Yeah.
A little less poop.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Dana and Reed, did you guys have any thoughts? What did you think?
That they're all orphans. All of them.
Where are their parents this whole
Dane's
time?
got a line in his notes that's just orphans, garage.
Yeah, they go to his garage, which, they're in high school, so if they're going to a garage, then you just assume that they don't own the house. They're just connected to the garage.
Billy's a science genius, so it's possible that he has, government money.
Yeah. We've discussed his sort of government contracting before, which is our sort of headcanon for that situation. So it's possible that he lives in his own house. I don't think that's true of the other Rangers, though. Given that Jason is as thick as, a plank of wood.
Maybe one day this show will go into their family lives, but that day has not been any time for the last 40 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I found it interesting.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, That's good. That's what we want.
Have you got any notes?
I liked it when the computer got a virus. That was top bit for me. I don't know, it was funny. It was easier to follow than the last episode. Yeah, probably not the best episode, but kind of I didn't really, to be honest, expect that much of it.
Yeah.
And I haven't been watching
Yeah.
39 episodes prior, so I didn't.
Lucky you.
I wasn't bothered.
I'm disappointed about the whole Satan thing.
Yeah.
Are we all?
Like he just dropped off the face of the earth. They didn't mention the fact that it was gone. Like, what's he doing now?
I'm
was
pretty sure he
defeated
never
by-
comes back.
Ah,
I don't
Really?
think. Yeah, I don't. I think that was the last appearance of Lokar.
oh.
I think it's because
Ever.
he was in the Japanese footage and he was just too weird for them to really want to deal with. They sort of had to at that moment. But I think as soon as they don't have to anymore, they're going to ditch him.
I would, yeah, now that I know that he never comes back, I would have liked to see him lead with a discussion, just
Yeah.
them chat about
And he didn't really add anything to the storyline at all.
No.
He just kind of came in and breathed
He was
a bit of
electrified.
frost, and then he left.
Yeah.
That was
I
it.
will say that a long way into the future, post Wild Force, which is a long way into the future,
no kidding.
one of the writers, producers of I think he was just a writer of the show, he made a pitch for a season of Power Rangers which would be called Hexagon.
Okay.
And look, we'll go into more detail later. But the idea was that it's the writer who wrote Forever Red.
Yep.
And his idea was that this season, I think it would have been the 10th anniversary,
Yep.
would wrap up a lot of loose ends of the series so far.
Yep.
And really bring it all to a close. And Lokar was one of the threads that he was looking at dealing with.
Oh, okay.
So,
That would be nice.
I mean, that season never happened for a
Yeah.
number of reasons. And we will talk about that a long way into the future.
I really want to know more about that.
Well, the pitch document is on his Tumblr, and I've read it, and it sounds spectacular.
Wow.
So we might talk about that later.
Yeah. We
But
don't have to wait till Wild Force to do that, do we?
probably not.
Okay, that's good.
So
that'll be like 4 years
so
away.
there was intent for a while to bring Lokar back.
Yeah, it just never happened.
It just never happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think possibly for the best, because he appeared in 3 episodes 10 years ago. He's probably not the best arch-villain to bring back.
But he's an arch villain, like, as far as scale goes.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's huge. He's at least a head,
Yeah.
if not more. Maybe there's Lokar's floating evil transparent hand somewhere. You just can't know these things.
Can we talk about Hexagon next week? I really want to know more about this.
Yeah, maybe at some point.
Okay.
We might, I'm having some thoughts, so we might talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
You can Google it. I'm not going to link it in the show notes because
We'll link it when
we'll
we
talk
actually
about it on air, but
Yeah.
you can find it if you want. Dana Ree, thank you very much for joining us. for
Yeah.
this.
Thanks for having us.
Did
We
you have
really
fun?
appreciate it.
Yeah, I feel enlightened.
We'd love to
Yeah.
have you back at some point. Possibly once everything about the show has changed, so you're completely confused again.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Which happens quite regularly.
Oh yeah, yeah. It won't be long. Matt, did you have anything you wanted to say for kind of the end of the season? It's not really the end of the season. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think because we're in that weird limbo where it isn't, I found it incredibly unsatisfying.
Yep.
Uh,
The good news is you'll find the real season finale equally unsatisfying.
That's not good news. That's the opposite of good news. I'm just
News
looking...
good. Swendoog?
Stop it.
Is it Swendoog?
Stop it! I'm really looking forward to getting a place in the series where it is more cohesive and we
Yep.
have storylines that start and finish. And I know, we're going to get there. I think even from Zio, I think it gets a bit.
Zio is a long way away, man.
I know.
Zio is like 100 episodes away.
But, we've done 40 episodes so far.
We have done 40 episodes so far.
So we can do
We've been
it.
doing this for a little over 9 months now.
Plus, we have things like Ninja between then and now. So
Ninja.
Ninja!
Did you know, and I will say at this point, I don't think I've seen anything between here and Turbo.
Really?
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
anything?
I've seen the movie.
Yeah, but that's not really counts.
Yeah, and I think I've probably seen bits.
Okay.
Like, I have vague memories of having seen Ninja,
Okay.
but for the most part,
Ninja!
everything that we are about to see is going to be completely new to me.
That's exciting.
So I'm very excited to see where we're going.
Because I say very, but sort of soon we get my favourite Megazord in Power Rangers ever.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Some cool stuff on the horizon, guys.
Yeah, so
First we've
stick
got-
with us, even
first-
though we're
yeah.
dejected and depressed.
First, we've got 20 kind of weird limbo episodes.
Yep.
So I'm interested to see how they change the tone of the show.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what they do now that they've got more control over it.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
Yep. And we've got some other stuff on the horizon that we won't talk about yet.
Yep.
Some cool things.
Cool things.
And again, thank you, Dana Ree. Thank you all for listening. Matt, where can they find us again?
Didn't we do that? Yeah,
You can tell them again.
Okay. We've got a website.
Yep.
It's www.rangerdangerpodcast.com. Send us an email at rangerdangerpodcast@gmail.com. We're at Twitter, which is at RangerDcast.
Yep.
We're on Facebook. We're on iTunes. We're on YouTube. And we're on Stitchers.
Stitcher.
We only have one Stitcher.
Yeah, we don't have several Stitchers.
Oh, okay. Is that bad? Should we have more Stitchers?
I don't think that's how that works.
Okay.
You don't need 2 Twitters.
Okay. All right. So you can stitch us at the Stitchers.
You have no idea what Stitcher is, do you?
Nope.
I just sent you a link and said, should we be on Stitcher? And you're like, we should be on everything.
Yeah.
Off air, I'll explain to you what Stitcher is.
Okay.
All right. And we will see you guys next week for episode 41.
Thank you so much for joining us and your ongoing support.